Hello everybody, so in this video we will be talking a little bit about Mermay. I'm sure everybody who has been on the art side of YouTube has heard about Mermay. So you draw mermaids every day of May. That's why it's called Mermay. You know, kind of self-explanatory. But I decided to do something a little bit different, and after seeing Avengers Endgame, I couldn't help myself and draw Marvel characters as mermaids for Mermay. I'm not sure what to call this, like Marvel Mermay or Marvel May, but then the mermaid part is left out. If you have any ideas, let me know. I am behind, but I have been posting these on Instagram, and I will not finish them in May because I've just given myself way too much work and they are way too complicated to do one daily, unfortunately. But I will finish it and I will probably release them as either prints or a zine, so you can look out for that. In this video I will be showing you, as you can see, playing in the background, there is Valkyrie. So she is my 15th character that I've done. I will pop up some of the other ones that I've done on the screen, just so you can see them. I won't show all of them, so if you want to see them, you need to check out my Instagram. But yeah, Valkyrie and Thor you will see in this video. Unfortunately, the last 20 minutes of me finishing up Valkyrie got cut out because the recording just decided to freeze up and I didn't notice. But the rest of it is here and you'll see the finished thing at the end. So here you can just see my sketching progress. It took me like over an hour to sketch out Valkyrie, and it took me 12 minutes because I recorded it and checked. 12 minutes to draw Thor. I don't know what happened. We had thunder while I was drawing these, so maybe it was just Thor speaking to me and I got everything right the first time and I was just very happy with it. Yeah, so for all of these illustrations I decided to go for something a little bit different from my usual style. I usually rely on line art, so I decided to try something a little bit different and do just a fully solid colors style with some lines here and there and shading and stuff like that. That is why it's taking me so long to do these, because it's just not my usual style, so I'm not very used to it. But I have to say I really like this kind of style. So this colorless style is something new, but I definitely want to do more pieces like this because I really enjoyed it. And I think now, having done 16 pieces in this kind of a style, I'm really finding that I can do it a little quicker now, and I really like the way it looks. So, you know, maybe things don't always have to have a line art. Who knew? I've been finding this challenge really difficult because when it started I still had college deadlines and stuff like that, so I kind of was keeping up at the start just because I planned some of them in advance, and then I finished college and immediately got a job, so it's been a little hectic. And I don't know, I've never completed any of the monthly challenges except for November, because I did something super simple that I could do every day. And I think that's one of my downfalls, is that I want to do a collection of drawings in a particular style, but it takes me like 2-3 hours to finish an illustration like that, and I don't have 2-3 hours every day free. And if I do, I might want to do something else. If you check out my Instagram, I've done only 2 or 3 things between Mermay, just because I don't really have the time. And if I do have some free time to do some art, I've ended up just doing Mermay instead, just because I do want to finish it, but I don't know. How do you guys deal with monthly challenges? because I have no idea how to set them up for myself, with the way my life is. If I had, I don't know, like a month where I was just on holidays, I would definitely be able to do all of them, but life just gets in the way, so I actually have no idea how some of the people I know do these amazing pieces throughout a monthly challenge, and they do them every day, and I know that they do, like, they haven't done them in advance. They have done them like day after day, and they do, I don't understand how they do it. I always found it very difficult. But yeah, anyway, I decided to put Valkyrie on a throne because, spoilers if you haven't seen Endgame, if you still want to watch it, please leave now. But yeah, she ends up being the person in charge of Asgard. So she is, I guess, the queen. I don't know if she's the king or queen or what title do they want to give her, but she is the ruler of Asgard either way. So I decided to go with that team. I actually completely changed her body armor, mainly because I hated that, I didn't notice it when I saw it in the film, but the designs kind of wrap about her breasts. Like, they're very accentuated, and I really did not want to draw that. The gold pieces are like on top of her chest, and I decided to do proper armor where there is no boob plates. Just, because that's more practical, and you don't need to accentuate a character's breasts every time they're in a costume. Did you know that? Yeah. Shocking. Yeah. I kept the armor pretty simple. I decided to go for a blue tail, mainly because her cape is also blue. But I changed their hues a little bit, so one is a bit more desaturated, and the tail is brighter than the cape, and the cape is a little bit darker. Yeah, and the background is pink, because I thought that it would just suits her, I guess. I don't know. Because at the start I started doing the backgrounds kind of blue and turquoise and a little bit green, but I decided to kind of just go anywhere between green and purple with my backgrounds, because they're just solid colors, and I might change the backgrounds a little bit if I am putting them into like a collection of booklets. So like in a collection in a booklet, like a zine, just so they're more coherent and that the colors beside each other kind of make sense. I hated doing these little parts with the design on her throne, because I was looking at the picture that you could see earlier of the reference, and they were like this beautiful Norse decorations on the throne, and I can't draw that. I wanted to keep it simple, and I just kept messing it up, so I decided to do some squiggles and call it a day. I was just like, oh, this is over. I'm not touching it. That's just what it's gonna be. Yeah, so she's almost done there. I just added some steps, and that was basically it for her. You won't be able to see me adding some of the details, so here is the full picture. It's like I didn't add that much in those 20 minutes, but unfortunately it just didn't record. And here is Thor. So I decided to go with the kind of an in-between between Endgame Thor and start of Endgame Thor, I guess. Yeah, I just wanted him to be happy, and I gave him the long locks and 2 braids, and his beard is a little bit less, I don't know, it's a bit better kept than the one, and his hair as well, than the one that's in the film. And I decided to just give him a typical like Viking inspired shirt, and he's just holding a cup, and he's just having a good time. He's just happy. That's all I want for Thor, just to be happy. Yeah, and I just decided to add a little detail, and beside his cup where he's holding it, there's 3 lightning bolts. So once again, I decided to use kind of his signature colors. So his tail ends up being red, and I decided that it would be nice to just have like a royal blue background. Yeah, I don't know. Thor was kind of, I think, the easiest one I've done so far. It was just the least complicated character somehow, or I have gotten better at actually being able to design these illustrations. I don't know why Valkyrie took me so long. It might be like the armor pieces that I spent so much time on, but Thor took me significantly less time to complete. But yeah, what do you think about monthly challenges? Do you participate in them? Do you complete them if you do? Because I haven't had much luck in completing them. Like, yes, I was even trying to do the drawing every day challenge for 365 days, but I just don't think it's good for me with how busy I am, because sometimes I make artwork that I might not be able to show because it's for a project, or it might not be specifically a drawing, it might be something to do with 3D sculpting or whatever. So I decided to just kind of abandon that idea completely, even though like most of the time I do draw every day. I just didn't feel like showing it on Instagram or whatever made a lot of sense, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to feel the pressure to create things for a specific amount of time and have to stick to those deadlines, because sometimes mental health is just more important than trying to complete this challenge on the internet. So, you know, I would, if you were thinking of doing any kind of monthly challenges, I would keep that in mind. Like, yes, set yourself up for a challenge, but don't forget that life can get in the way and that you need to take care of yourself. And like, I don't know, I've had a sore wrist one of the days, and I just decided I'm not drawing. And then I was trying to catch up at first, and I was trying to I think I was like 3 behind, so I was like, okay, I'll sit down today and I'll draw 3 of these illustrations. And that was just not viable because I just don't have that much time. So I don't know, I think we have to challenge ourselves if we want to, but also keep in mind that it's not always healthy for us, and it's not always the best thing to be doing in terms of your artistic development. And especially if you're posting these online, you always feel like you can't experiment, you can't you know, if you have a theme, you can't leave that kind of a theme because you've already set it up, or anything in those lines. Like, I don't know, social media sometimes gives unnecessary pressure, and sometimes I just don't feel like posting the art that I'm proud of just because I don't want to set an expectation. Which, yeah, I don't know. Social media is weird. And sharing your art on the internet is also a weird experience. It's wonderful, and I absolutely love getting feedback, and I love people being happy to see my artwork, and I love when people interact with me talking about art and stuff like that, but sometimes it's just a beast of its own. And, you know, artists are people too, I guess, is the moral of this rant. I hope you enjoyed this video anyway, and if you have any suggestions for a different video you would like to see, please let me know. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. But I will be completing this challenge, definitely not in May, because we have very little time left, but I will continue drawing them, so they should be done within the next few weeks anyway. I am on number 16 at the moment. As of the time of recording of this, there's only a few days left in May, so, you know, I'm about halfway. So maybe halfway through June I'll be done, I would say. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day, and take care of your mental health. Bye!